Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an impromptu uh, reaction stream, I guess you can call it. Doing this today because I was getting ready to record the transfer plans video for Gameweek 7, but I thought there's so much to talk about for Gameweek 6. I mean, it felt like a game week from hell, I guess. A lot of things didn't really go according to plan, so I think there's a bit to talk about. And yeah, just chat through a couple of scores that you guys have had, and how I did as well. So just a casual kind of a chat. Yeah, I don't think I've done a reaction stream very often. So I guess today is going to be just one of those rare ones, an impromptu kind of a decision to stream today. So hopefully some of you guys are tuned in. And yeah, we can get chatting some FPL. Right, so say hi to some of you guys in the chat as always. Iman, first in the chat, nice to see you. 51 points with Pau Torres to play. Honestly, any score above 40 points this week, I'd say is good. Manon said, Consult, we didn't pick our boy Palmer on wildcard. Not a good feeling. Yeah, I know. I'll hold my hands up and say that I was never going to pick Palmer. Like, I'm not even going to say that it was close. I'll hold my hands up and say that I did not consider Palmer nor Jackson on the Game Week 6 wildcard, even if I did, like, very, very briefly. So, I mean, for him to score 4 goals against Brighton, I was very happy as a Chelsea fan, but as an FPL manager, not as much. But it is what it is. Things like this happen, and Palmer always had this in him. So I think more pertinently, the question now is, do we try and do some surgery to our team to bring Palmer in? Of which I think at this point I probably still am not going to do that. But yeah, I mean, keen to see what you guys think. Glenn says from 37k to 174k, Watkins and Paul Torres to go. Fair enough. Those are still very good players to have. I mean, Ipswich away is a good fixture for them. Score says 34 points. I think I'm on 34 points as well. Yeah, let me just leave it on this on this screen here. By the way, if you guys are watching and if you're tuned in, please do help me out to drop a like on the stream before we get started. That would be great. Right, so yeah, 34 points. I mean, similar. It's just, one of those game weeks, I guess. It's one of those game weeks. Welbeck and Ezehu to sell first. Probably say Welbeck. The fixture is really not great. Mick says 49 points with Konza, Rogers, and Solanke to play. You're probably on a green arrow. Well done there. Toby, nice to see you in the chat. What a game week. Yeah, I mean, even the way it started out, even the way Game Week 6 started out was already, I had a feeling it was going to be that kind of a game week. Like, at halftime, Rico Lewis starts, so that was good news. And then after that, Vardiol scores. So already, someone that majority of us didn't consider on a wild card, or even people shipped him out, right, or transferred him out in preparation for, the other fixtures coming up. And then he goes on to return against Newcastle, right? So that was it. And then halftime, there was some rumors, I guess, or some murmurings on Twitter saying that Haaland's injured. I mean, to be fair, his Achilles was bleeding, I guess. So a lot of them were saying, is he going to start the second half? Then he comes out, he starts, and obviously he blanks, right? So already the Man City game didn't start well. And then you go on with the other 3 p.m. games, the 3 p.m. kickoffs. Arsenal clean sheet being wiped. 4-2. I mean, honestly speaking, for Arsenal to score the last few goals I mean, they did deserve the goals, I'll be honest. And I do think, for them to win, it was the correct result. But the way in which it happened, I mean, honestly. Right, so I mean, I am pretty happy that I have Harvard's, but I'd say that there was quite a bit of luck involved there. So I mean, the 3 p.m. games also brought a lot of ups and downs, I'd say. Palmer outscored my entire team. Like, honestly, if I didn't have Harvard's returning, I think I'd be in a similar boat as well. And considering I wild carded too, I mean, this is just one of those game weeks, right? Like, wild carding in that particular game week may not necessarily always lead to more points, and this is just one of those, it's just one of those game weeks. Manon says, as a Chelsea fan, it hurts double. I mean, to be fair, I'm happy with the result. I mean, I'm happy that we're doing well. It's just it's just from the FPL standpoint, it's not fantastic. 32 with 2 to play, Semenyo and Duran. Hopefully Duran starts. I mean, we'll see what happens. For what it's worth, I think Watkins still starts, but hopefully Duran gets some minutes. I mean, I do think Duran would be substituted in at some point for sure. Saka points are not legal. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that there will be some changes to the bonus points. I mean, for Saka to be on, I've seen the underlyings. I mean, Saka's underlying data for game week 6 against Leicester was very good. I mean, in terms of big chances created, crosses put into the box, etc. Those were good numbers. But for him to match Martinelli and even get more bonus points than Trossard, I mean, Trossard scored a goal and got an assist. Martinelli also did similar. But Saka's on. I mean, I have to think that there will be some changes to this. So, and they did say that bonus points are not locked in all the way until the final. I mean, a couple hours after the final game of the game week. So, I don't think we'll see this staying. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea how Saka is so high up the bonus points. By the way, if you guys just joined or if you haven't done so, drop your scores in the chat. I'd like to see how you guys did for game week 6. I mean, so far we still have a couple of games to go, but I'd like to know how you guys did based on yesterday's games. Corruption from FPL towers. Do you think the reason why he scored so many points was because Brighton were playing such a high line and didn't play well? To be honest, I was quite surprised that Van Heck didn't start, and they played Webster instead, and Van Heck wasn't even in the squad. So I think that could be one of the main reasons. And I am sitting with Verbruggen on my bench in preparation for game week 12 onwards, where presumably I would want to start a Brighton defender, but that was not good watching for someone like me who has Verbruggen on the bench. So I am hoping that it's simply just kind of a one game blip. Tommy Ross says, still think transferring Palmer in is too much of a knee-jerk reaction. I tend to agree with you. I mean, I don't think we need to do like surgery to get Palmer into our teams. I think it's a case where, if you didn't go with Palmer, I don't think it's time to bring him in. He has Nottingham Forest in game week 7. But after that, I mean, it does not look great. Yeah. So they have Forest, and the run after that is just not great at all. It's Liverpool, Newcastle, United, Arsenal. Leicester's alright, but then there's Aston Villa after that as well. So I don't see now it's a time to bring Palmer in. Yeah, it's just a case where we just missed the boat. We just missed the boat, we missed the points. I don't think we move for him. At least that's where I'm on now. But if you're on a game week 7 wildcard, I think it's slightly more interesting. Do you try to fit Palmer into your team? So that's what I'm thinking about. I'll be making an updated Gameweek 7 wildcard draft. But I'm just thinking, would I have Palmer in the Gameweek 7 wildcard or not? If for those of you watching, if you are wildcarding in Gameweek 7, let me know if you're gonna have Palmer in your team. Pick Vardiel on wildcard, only good decision of the week. Good enough, fair enough. Vardiel, good play. Score says, yeah, it's not like Palmer's gonna go score 4 goals every week. Yeah, I tend to agree with you guys. 64 points with Luca, Dean, Rogers, Delap, and Harwood Bellis to play. Well, 64 points is insane for this week. 64 points is mad. Patty says, every content creator has the same defense and it's so funny. We did horribly this week. Horribly. 2-1-1-2. I mean, what do I even say? Is Palmer an essential player as fixtures turn after Gameweek 7? I don't think he's essential. J War, 62 points. Very, very nice. Very nice there. Watkins, Rogers, and Consa to play. Oh, you have Palmer. I mean, yeah. Let's do a poll. How many points are you on? Let's say more than 50 is going to be really good. Let's put 40 to 50. Let's put 30. Alright, let's just put 25. More than 50. Nah, more than 45. Right. Let me know how many points you guys are on. More than 45. I put 45 because I think it's close enough to the average. Yeah, but I would think that a lot of not many big scores this week. So if you scored anything more than 40, or you're currently on anything more than 45 points, you are pretty much going to be on a green arrow. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure about that. Watch the match. Definitely saw more from Martinelli and Trossard compared to Saka. Yeah, exactly. But when I look at the numbers, like the Opta stats, Saka actually created so many chances and took many shots as well. I think him being on set pieces and taking so many corners, I think Arsenal had like 17 corners. He took pretty much all of them. Or at least the majority of them. Yeah, and I think it contributes to, the chance creation for him. So maybe that's one of the reasons why. We will wait to see. I mean, I do expect that the bonus points would be changed, but I mean, it seems a bit crazy. Would you sell Pedro, and Eze? Give me a moment. Would you sell João Pedro and Eze for a -4 to Jackson and McNeil or Solanke and Rogers? I prefer the Solanke and Rogers one. Glenn says 29 points. Many people in that boat as well. Many people. You're not alone. It's one of those game weeks. Paddy says 70 points. Konate, Robinson, Palmer, Mbumo. Insane. Aman 62. Very, very nice. 59 points for the play. Didn't jump on the triple Arsenal train. No Trent as well. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, anyone who didn't have triple Arsenal, I'm thinking you did pretty well. We all knew what Palmer can do. Nothing has changed. Game week 6 did not make me want Palmer more than before. I really like that. I really like that comment. Like, it's simply a case of, we know he's a quality player. It was a decision that we were making in game week 6, about whether it's worth, for the long term going with Cole Palmer. Even if I rewind back to before the game week 6 deadline, I think there'd still be a very low chance that I went for Cole Palmer. So I really have to hold my hands up and say I don't think I was ever close. Vincent, member in the chat, nice to see you. 78 points. Very, very nice. 78 points. Very nice. Medic Ant says 24. Wildcard in game week 8 or game week 12 and no Palmer for me. Interesting. So game week 8 is also a really good window to wildcard. Like, definitely there'll be videos out then, but I think the fixture swings for game week 8 wise, for those who are looking at wildcarding in game week 7, if you can delay it by one game week, I would really advise the game week 8 wildcard. It looks much, much better. Yeah, so game week 8, game week 12, all good windows. Should I sell Diaz? I'm on 51 points. 51 points is a great score. Diaz, he's going to leave my team soon. I'm pretty sure. Like, he's one of the first few names that are going to leave my team. Along with Trent as well. I will be selling those players. Just looking at a couple of alternatives now. I will be recording the transfer plans video right after this stream. And then I'll upload it after the United game. And yeah, I think Trent, Diaz, probably the first few ones to go. Aditya, 21 points, have triple Villa and Semenyo left with Watkins captaincy. You're alright, man. You're alright. You're alright. Only template players deserve a terrible score. Vardiol or Timber? I quite like Vardiol more than Timber. Vincent says, who is more fixture proof? Luis Diaz or Palmer? I'd say Palmer because of penalties. Obat on 65 points, very nice. Big Man says, when do I move Robertson onto Vardiol? This week. You could do it as soon as this week. 44 points with 3 to play, very, very nice. Most content creators are extremely sheepish and template. Well, I did try to go slightly different. I mean, I went for Havertz up front, and I have Verbruggen as well. I mean, I don't think it's a case of like copying anyone. It's just a case of what options I'd have after that, and the price points that I wanted that made me go specifically with this draft. Like, Havertz becomes Solanke, Luis Diaz, Trent, they become Manchester United players. Those are the kind of price points that I want to nail, and that's pretty much why I've gone for this team. We could very well be saying, different things if this game week turned out differently. Like, if Arsenal went on to smash it, City, wins Newcastle 1-0, 2-0, and Liverpool, smash Wolves, which were all very possible, especially pre-deadline when we were assessing the fixtures, then, we would be saying very different things. So, it is what it is. It's one of those game weeks. Toby says, safety score is 45 points, 10 points off. Still a couple of games to go, Toby. Zane says, 61, Rogers, Konza, and Evan Nielsen. Very big score. Very big score. Lord Semenyo is going to bang. I do need it. Like, he's pretty much the last player that I have. I'm currently on 34 with Semenyo to play, so one player left, and I'm currently at 454. Yeah, 454k. The rank is there. So dropped, I think almost doubled the rank. Any good replacements for Luis Diaz? Bruno Fernandes, he'll be one I'm looking at. You should have hope. Maybe Semenyo scores 5 goals. If Semenyo can do half as good as what Palmer did, I'd be over the moon. 2 goals, I'd take it any day. Take it any day. Lewis locked for the weeks ahead. Nah, far from that, far from that. He's someone that I'm pretty wary of. Also because of how Man City set up against Newcastle, he was outrightly playing as a midfielder. Outrightly. So they had Kyle Walker there, and it's mainly the reason why Vardiel was so advanced as well, is that Kyle Walker was playing right back, and Rico Lewis was pretty much just playing in the midfield, allowing him to be a lot more advanced as well. Kovacic kind of set a little bit deeper. But yeah, because Kyle Walker was there, he could be the third centre back in the kind of attacking phases. And then Vardiel was able to push up all the way, and we know what happens when Vardiel pushes up. 6 million for a defender of his quality up front is a joke. So that was always going to happen if we saw a similar setup. And I think that's the thing with Man City, right? That's the thing with Man City. Like, they have so many ways to kind of set up their defense or even their attack that we don't really know what positions or what setup they're going to go with and how our players are going to play. So it's pretty much we just have to, take the risk. Yeah, but to answer your question, I think by no means is Lewis locked. I feel like managers who did well this week are big fans of the auto-complete team function. Let's be honest, if it weren't for Gundogan, Haaland would have gotten at least a goal. Yeah, I mean, how did he not just square it? It was frustrating. It was very frustrating. Is it time to sell Eze? I wouldn't mind selling Eze now, to be honest. Like, as good as the underlying numbers have been, we can't keep relying on underlying numbers. Like, those need to turn into returns. Yeah, no pun intended, but those need to become returns. So, yeah, it's just not happening for Eze. I think if I were in your position with Eze, I'd be tempted to sell. I'd be tempted to sell, but I wouldn't say he's a must sell. Should we buy Palmer now, Toby? I probably wouldn't. Hold Eze until game week 15. If you have other things to, other areas of your team to sort out, fair enough. Diaz to McNeil. So McNeil is an interesting one. Like, he's been doing pretty well, and the fixtures are honestly there. So I wouldn't put anyone off McNeil. He's looked very, very, very good. Luckily, Palmer vice captain, Salah captain. And Salah captain really popped off this week. I feel like Trent is less included in the attack. Do you think replacing Trent with Konate is a good move to have more value to upgrade other positions? I think regardless, right, whether you intend to go with Konate or some other player, I just think like selling Trent could be the move for, in the near future because of the fixtures that they have. It's in game week 8 onwards is Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, Aston Villa. And then it's Southampton in 12, and then it's Man City, Newcastle. Like, I think there's no real need to go with a Liverpool defender for this run, in which case it's very soon, I think it's time to sell Trent. Any good replacements for Diaz? Yeah, there's plenty. I'm sure Bruno Fernandes is going to be very exciting for everyone who loves Bruno Fernandes. I mean, I'm thinking about it myself to go for Bruno Fernandes, but if I don't, I think there are fairly decent alternatives. I want to wait and see if Foden gets a bit more of a run out with the Man City squad, because Kevin De Bruyne is still out likelihood is he'll only come back after the international break. But yeah, I mean, the thing is Foden didn't even start yesterday, so I think that pretty much also rules him out for now. If I was replacing Luis Diaz this week though, I think I'd really only be looking... The main replacement for me is Bruno Fernandes. If I go elsewhere, I don't mind punting on Savinho if you don't have Rico Lewis. If you have Vardio, for example, you could punt on Savinho, but Savinho also didn't start yesterday. Pradio says, how am I doing? 36 with 4 to play. Watkins, Rogers, Semenyo, and Porro. Honestly, that is a great score. That is a great score. I have 34 with 1 to play. Double Arsenal and Savinho. I really did not kind of understand why Pep benched Savinho. Like, the moment he came on, I think they looked so much better. They looked so much more lively. Yeah, so honestly, don't really understand why. And then when he came on, he only had a couple of minutes to influence the game, so... If I have to take a guess though, I think moving forward, it's still his position. Why do content creators love Bruno? Sponsored by Manchester United. Unfortunately not. Bruno is not a good asset at all. I don't understand the hype personally. Like where... Alright. Right, where else would you go right now at that kind of price bracket? Like looking at, 7 million to the premiums, like close to the premiums. Like where else would you go? Madison, maybe. I don't mind Madison. Definitely won't go for Gordon, right? And then you drop down to the 6.5s already. So honestly, where else would you go? Like even the 6.5s for Man City assets, risky. You go all the way down to Gibbs White. I mean, let me know in the chat, if you don't go for Bruno Fernandes at that kind of price range for Luis Diaz, where else are you looking at? I just want to know. Now the case for Bruno Fernandes, which I know people don't really like, is just the fixtures. I mean, look at the fixture run from 9 to 18. Only Arsenal away and Man City away, the tough ones. Aside from that, I think it's pretty alright. From Gameweek 8 specifically. So, yeah, let me know. Let me know if I'm missing something. Why Semenyo? What other defenders do you have? FPL errors in the chat. Nice to see you. Morning, bud. Road to 10k is on for you. Fair play. Thank you very much. We are not sure how many subscribers we have at the moment. If you guys are watching, you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. We are not sure. Let me just check. We are 2 subscribers away. We're 2 subscribers away from 9,300 subscribers. So if just 2 of you guys watching could help me out, that would be incredible. But yeah, road to 10k is on. We're gonna try and hit 10k probably after the international break. But yeah, hopefully we can get there soon. McNeil, Bowen, West Ham. Trent and Semenyo fixtures turn bad when Manchester United's fixtures turn good. I mean, exactly. Pep is afraid of pace on the counter. He picked 2 wide men to control possession and not to take risks. But Gundo was poor and City never got the second goal needed. Fair enough. I think that is kind of a good analysis. I think if you put Bernardo on the right and Grealish on the left, you definitely have a bit more control and possession. Good point there, good point. So in that case, then I'm assuming that in kind of easier fixtures, he would be brave enough to have players like Savinho and Doku. Gordon is not that bad. He is kind of fixture proof. To be fair, I don't think if Isak was on the pitch that Gordon would take that penalty. I mean, but yeah, if Isak scores, then Gordon will get the assist. But Newcastle, I mean, I don't think they have the fixtures, and I'm always wary of their away performances. Sancho, interesting, but fixtures not there for Chelsea, right? Like the fixtures from game week 8 onwards are just not good. Right, we just hit 9,300 subscribers, so thank you all so much for helping out. I really appreciate that. The road to 10k starts now. I'm trying to think if we should do kind of a like a charity drive from now until the 10k subscriber mark. Let me know what you guys think. Because there'll always be one charity drive that I do within the season, and usually that one is closer to Christmas. So I might just keep it for Christmas still. But yeah, let me know if I should bring it forward. Vincent says, do you think Raul Jimenez at its price point is worth it? Or would you rather get Wood, Calvert-Lewin, who are more expensive, looking for João Pedro replacements? I don't mind Raul Jimenez, considering he's also on penalties. But I also do wonder that if, Raul Jimenez also doesn't perform for a couple of game weeks, say, three to 4 game weeks he blanks, could it be a case that Muniz starts ahead of him, ahead of Raul Jimenez? Like, they swap it back around. So, I mean, with Raul Jimenez, he's cheaper, but you have that bit of a risk. But with, like, Calvert-Lewin, with Wood, I don't think that there'll be that kind of risk. So, do you like McNeil or Calvert-Lewin better? I mean, based off of recent performances, it has to be McNeil. But the thing with Calvert-Lewin is he's on penalties. So, Wildcard didn't give me the best result this game week, but honestly, I don't need to change anything with this team until game week 15 at least. Yeah, I mean, game week 6 wildcard, right off the bat, did not do very well. Like, that's, if I'm honest, like, I look at a couple of other teams that are on game week 6 wildcard, like, we all didn't perform very well. The players that we took out, players like Salah, Jota, for example, all returned in game week 6. And the players that we brought in, like Luis Diaz, Wood, for example, Rico Lewis, all pretty much blanked. And double Arsenal defense also blanked. So wildcard 6 was, in the immediate sense of assessing it, yeah, it just didn't do very well. But then again, like, I mean, it's early days, right? We wildcard for the long term. So I still think that moving forward, the team is in decent enough shape. So similar to you, I don't think I'll be making too many transfers. But I do have a couple of plans to remove the Liverpool players. So we'll speak more about that. Thoughts on the Chelsea versus Brighton game and the playing out from the back. Like, honestly, I've watched Brighton in the earlier games. I don't think they were that bad. Like, even in the game against Arsenal, where I mean, to be fair, that one Arsenal went down to 10 men. But even in that game, I think defensively they were pretty sound. And yeah, I mean, playing out from the back is usually what Brighton do. But with Van Heck and Dunk, I think it works decently well. It's simply because Van Heck wasn't there. I think they really suffered. Yeah, so that's pretty much that's what I think about them playing out from the back. Like, I think they're still capable of it, and I don't think that Hertzler will just change his style of play off of one game. So I think we still see that happening, but I think it's just a case where a one game kind of a blip situation. With which three will you play out of Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis, Trent / Mazraoui up until game week 15? I don't think I want to play Trent all the way through the difficult fixtures, if I'm honest. Like Gabriel and Saliba, I'm okay to play through difficult fixtures. I know they conceded 2 goals yesterday, but they are still Arsenal, and the XG conceded for that particular game was 0.27, so it was really fortunate that Leicester managed to score 2 goals there. I don't think in other game weeks that would happen. So yeah, I mean Saliba, Gabriel, I'll be happy to keep. I don't think you need that much of a strong defense to have, Lewis, Trent, and Mazraoui as well. If you already have double Arsenal defense, I drop one of them to a 4.0, leave them on the bench, have a good enough third defensive option, and then a fourth defender just to kind of substitute in if the third defender has bad fixtures. What do you do with Mosquera? I think you gotta sell Mosquera. He's gonna miss out the whole of the season. Should I hold on to João Pedro? I don't mind holding on to him if you have, say for example, you have 5 good midfielders and you have like a Chris Wood and Haaland, and then you can play them for at least the next few games. And then when game week 12 comes around and João Pedro has a good run of fixtures, you already have him. So I don't mind that. I don't mind it. I got Watkins, Rogers, Semenyo, and Kepa to play. 22 points, I'm cooked. For what it's worth, I think I have Rogers on the bench. For what it's worth, I think Villa are going to do well against Ipswich. We'll see what happens. Score prediction for the United game. I see goals in that one. I see goals in that one. What do you guys think about the United and Tottenham game? Maybe a 2-2. That's my prediction. If Aston Villa take the clean sheet, I will be over 100 points this game week. That is insane. That is insane. Since there are no good midfielders at that range, would you consider investing into forward positions such as having Watkins, Haaland, and Solanke all together? Very good point. That's a very good point. I think I could very well do that. It's only because I think Bruno is worth going for, contrary to what a lot of people think. So Rico Lewis is a class little player, but I feel he's guaranteed a 2-pointer almost every week. Don't understand the hype. He's so advanced though. He's so advanced. There has to be one week that he's gonna get an attacking return and a clean sheet, right? Do you think Palmer will blank against Forest and Liverpool? Maybe against Forest he won't. But against Liverpool, I think it'd be much trickier. Like I'm sure Liverpool will make sure to set up a little bit more solid at the back because of Chelsea's kind of goal scoring run the past few games. Who do you think will win the Premier League and who will get top 4? Will Newcastle get top 6? Newcastle... Okay, you're obviously a Newcastle fan. I think there needs to be a bit of a change in kind of the Newcastle performances because their away form still is not good. Like if you want to be top 5, top 6, I think you need to be able to get points, a decent amount of points away from home. Like home games are not going to get you, all the way to the top 6. So I think there will be cases where you need to win the away games, in which case Newcastle has to do better there. So Premier League wise, who do I think will win? I think it's still between City and Arsenal for me, but Liverpool is close. I think it's just about the consistency that I think I need to see Liverpool be able to do that. Are you planning to get Palmer? No. Kevin, nice to see you in the chat. Calvin, sorry. Thinking of not getting Palmer until game week 12. His fixtures become better. Still have the wild card. Might save it for next week. If you're using your wild card in game week 6, I'll be interested to know, Calvin, what's your game week 7 wild card like? Assuming no Palmer already. So is it going to look very similar to the game week 6 wild cards that people had last week? Because I think Game Week 6 versus Game Week 7 wildcard, you're technically targeting the same players. It's just that you get to keep your Liverpool assets for Wolves. You get to keep your existing team for Game Week 6, and then you pretty much jump on a similar team for Game Week 7. Differences wise, I'd say maybe you have Solanke up front. You don't have Liverpool players. You have a couple of Spurs or Manchester United assets. But I think aside from that, players like Saka, Mbumo, Haaland, yeah, Rodgers, for example, as an enabler, probably still the ones we go for, right? Watkins' green fixtures have dried up. Do you hold long term? I think it really depends on how Aston Villa continue to set up moving forward. Like, if there's going to be a case that John Duran plays alongside Watkins and doesn't take minutes away from Watkins, then I'll be happy to keep, Watkins for a while. Aston Villa's attack is just very good, so I'm happy to keep them. I say this now, but I know famous last words later when they play. (2-1) to Manchester United, 2-2, 2-2 draw. Yeah, I mean, most of you think 2-2 as well, right? When does Trent's fixtures turn bad? Trent's fixtures turn bad from game week 8, Chelsea onwards. So I think we could pretty much get ready to offload Trent. What's the lineup for Villa? Let's have a look. Right. What do we think? Let me put it up on screen. What do we think? Konza, Diego Carlos, Pau Torres, and Luka Dean. So Konza at right back again. Telemons, Onana, Ramsey, Rodgers, Bailey, Watkins. So Bailey's back as well. John Duran on the bench. Yeah, I mean, pretty standard, right? Pretty standard. I wonder what Ipswich is looking like. Muric, Twanzebe, O'Shea, Greaves, Davies, Morrissey, Phillips, Ogbene, Hutchinson. Yeah, I mean, pretty standard as well. So I think they're both going like pretty much full strength. So we'll see what happens. For what it's worth, I still think Villa do very well. Yeah. Ipswich 1, Villa 4. Don't we all wish that happens? What about a punt on Marcus Rashford? Too risky. I think if he starts the next few, I would be tempted. Like, he's cheap. He's cheap. How many hits would you recommend taking for the season? This is a very subjective question. Like, it really depends. You can take a good number of hits so long as it's justified. So long as you look at the game week and you look at the pick that you're going for and how many game weeks you're giving that player to return. So I don't think this is a question that I can answer like from a season long kind of a view. It's really like in isolation, case by case, whether it's worth it. Bongo says, would you sell Eze/Pedro for Watkins or Dibbling? Dibbling would be on my bench. So basically just getting Watkins in, right? Again, I think the thing with Watkins is I want to see a bit more. And fixtures-wise, it's not going to be super good. So I really need him to get like 90 minutes each game for me to really think it's worth an investment. Like, there are tricky fixtures there for Aston Villa. United in 7. In 10 and 11, it's both away fixtures against Spurs and Liverpool. So that's tricky. Game week 13 is Chelsea away as well. So unless Ollie Watkins is going to move forward and get good minutes, I'm going to think about really whether he's worth that price point. Patrick says, hi Leon, 1 free transfer and 1.3 in the bank. Would you play Smith Rowe against City or swap him for Martinelli? Or swap João Pedro for Vardy and bench Smith Rowe? I wouldn't do Smith Rowe to Martinelli because once Odegaard comes back, who drops out? does Martinelli drop out or does Trossard drop out? You probably say it's Trossard, but there's always like the risk there. So I don't mind keeping Smith Rowe. Numbers wise, he did put up pretty decent numbers yesterday against Forest. So João Pedro Tavares, probably the one I like. Davies family says, will you wildcard this in Gameweek 7? Raya, Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, Johnson, Salah, Smith Rowe, Rogers, Mbumo, Semenyo, Haaland, Solanke would. Probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't. Make a couple of transfers, take a hit or two, but yeah, if not. Your team pretty much looks alright. Vincent says, you're a legend of the community. Life would definitely be worse without you. It's a blessing there. Thank you very, very much. I'm happy to be able to help. Dr. Arth says, you said Trent and Diaz are probably sells with the fixtures. What about Salah? Do you think he's fixture proof? Put it this way, like if I wildcarded in game week 7, I wouldn't have Salah. Do you sell him? I don't think I sell him in game week 7, but from game week 8 onwards, just to get good options elsewhere, I don't mind just going without Salah. I would actually. Short answer is I would. Do you think Emery needs to get Watkins and Duran playing together up front? I very much do think so. But then again, like when you play with 2 strikers as compared to 1, it always kind of changes the dynamic, right? So not necessary that you put 2 good strikers up front, that the team chemistry and the setup that they have is going to be good enough to create good chances for both of them. So I think that's kind of the reason why he's holding back a bit as well. When's Bournemouth playing? Tomorrow? Should be Monday night. Playing on Monday night. Yeah, so I won't get Semenyo's points, and I won't get Semenyo's hat-trick. Correct myself there. So I won't get Semenyo's hat-trick until Monday night. What's your plan for the next game week if Diaz is benched? Then I'll start Chris Wood then. Talking about next week, I will be recording the transfer plans video right after this stream. But just a bit of a spoiler. To answer your question, if Diaz misses out, then I just start Chris Wood. I won't do Diaz to Bruno Fernandes because I don't have money in the bank for that. Do you think Kane will score against Aston Villa in the Champions League? You know what? I actually honestly wish that Kane comes back to Spurs just to end his career. Like I don't know what you guys think, but I think it'd be a fitting end for an England legend like he is. Like come back to Spurs, maybe win a trophy or 2 in the last season, and then just with Ange of course, because Ange is just a really good coach. So I did feel a bit disappointed, I guess, for Spurs fans who didn't get to see Harry Kane play under Ange Postecoglou. Like, he pretty much only got, like, the first game of the season or something. But I honestly think, like, Spurs could have done much better with Kane in the team. Yeah, so what ifs? Let me change back to my squad. Yep. Algo captain for game week 7, not out yet, but game week 6 algorithm was a fail. I would say it's a fail because Saka didn't return, and 3 bonus points despite no goal involvements. Honestly, I think that changes. 71 points, finally some luck. Very, very nice. Semenyo hat-trick. What team do I support? I support Chelsea. Kelvin says, yes, miss Kane. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I miss watching Harry Kane in the Premier League. I miss, like, looking at, like, for example, Spurs winning a penalty and then Kane taking it and not even batting an eyelid that Kane is going to score. Like, that feeling, I miss it. When Kane is behind the ball, taking a penalty kick, and he's in my team, and I have him captain, and I know the points are going to come. I love that moment. So what's your opinion about Salah, Palmer, Saka, Son, Rogers midfield? Is this on a wild card or just on a wild card or just your team for game week 6? He needs to win the trophy with Bayern and come back. It'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Drilly Dude says, see Bruno go and get a hat-trick now. You can clip this, but if he gets a hat-trick in game week 6 against Spurs later, people are going to mass transfer him in. And those who think Bruno is not gonna... Bruno is not an option, all the blanks that he's had this season putting people off, like instantly that's gonna change, trust me. Like he does anything near what Palmer did today, he's gonna be mass transferred in with the fixtures that they have. In fact, in some sense, I do hope that he doesn't, so that hopefully when I bring him in game week 8, that he be lesser owned. It's my team from game week 1, but without Haaland, just Watkins. Then I try to get Haaland, especially from game week 7 onwards, the fixtures get really good. So I probably sell Salah to get Haaland. I'm thinking about game week 9 and out Saka, Diaz for Palmer and Bowen. But Palmer's fixtures from game week 9 is not great, right? Shaving my hair off if Bruno gets a hat-trick. Are we going to have anyone to keep Scorch to this? We're going to come back to this comment. Chelsea starting to play good football, yeah. I should buy some of the assets, right? It'll be double the joy for me. The bandwagon already used their free transfer on Palmer. There will always be that bunch of people who mass transfer based on knee-jerk. Bruno equals blankety blank. From game week 9, also 8 Nuri can be a very nice option. Yes, I have to agree. Like Wolves fixtures get pretty good. I wouldn't say game week 9. I was looking more at like game week 10 or 11 onwards. But yeah, around that period of time, 8 Nuri, Cunha, decent options. Probably wouldn't go for Strand Larsen. Thanks. And sell Salah and Son. I'd be more ready to sell Salah than Son because the fixtures would be there for Son, but Salah will have tricky fixtures. Who is the Kane type player in FPL now? Has to be Haaland, right? Has to be Haaland. Do I try to get Palmer, Salah, and Haaland all in the same team playing my wildcard this week? There will be an updated draft. I'll release it later in the week. But I don't think, I'll be honest, I don't think I would have Salah. Palmer, I'm still deciding whether I would want him on the Game Week 7 wildcard or not. Scott says, we'll tag you on Twitter if it happens. Please do. Bruno Fernandes hat-trick. Scotch will shave his head. Having a look at the poll now, like 253 votes. And there's a good number of you guys above 44 points, so very, very nice. Very nice there. Son or Palmer? To buy, I don't think I would buy Palmer. Like, I mean, if it's between Son and Palmer, I would buy Palmer. But just objectively speaking, would I want to buy Palmer this week? Then I don't think I would. Right, because from game week 8 onwards, I don't think the fixtures are there for him. So I need a bit more context. Like, is it on a wild card? Is it, you're transferring in a player? If not, I think Son is fine to keep, especially if he starts today. Alright, we have been going on for an hour, I think. Yeah, close to an hour. Thank you all for joining on this impromptu stream. I I will be off to record the team selection video. I'll release that after the Manchester United and Spurs game. Hopefully that one will be a good watch. Let's see what happens. But yeah, any last words from you guys? Any last questions? Drop it in the chat, and let's call it a day. Let's get ready for the Villa and Ipswich game. People are very reactionary. One player hauls in a week and everyone brings them in. There'll always be that group of people, honestly. Would you ditch Saka for Bruno game weeks 8 to game week 12? I think it's a decent enough consideration. Like, it really depends on the rest of your team, how it's set up as well, but it's a decent consideration. Alright, thank you all very, very much. Glenn, Kelvin, Scorch, Bruno G, Repent Master, Watkins hat-trick for Kelvin. I do hope that happens for you. But yes, alright, so thank you all for tuning in on this kind of an impromptu reaction stream for Game Week 6. We'll see if I can do a bit more of this moving forward. I don't think it'd be a consistent thing, but as and when, I'm getting ready to record the transfer plans video, if I think there's, a lot to discuss, especially now in Game Week 6, a lot of people wildcarded and there's so much to digest from the Game Week 6 games, then yeah, maybe we do this again. So let me know what you guys think if you want more of this kind of a reaction stream on Sunday to debrief. But if not, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the transfer plans video that's coming out in just a couple of hours time. I will see you guys, and all the best for the rest of the Game Week 6. Hopefully more points for your players, and hopefully some Semenyo hat-trick on Monday night. Alright, I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.